Good morning. How are you? Let me just wait a little while. I don't have the intro stuff, so I need to wait a few minutes for people to show up. The boys aren't going to like this one. Think I got to get a few things off my chest. See how we go. Hang on, let me just adjust some stuff. Let me get my posture. Hang on. Here we go. Okay. How are we doing? So, it's been an interesting 24 hours, hasn't it? 48 hours. So I'm probably going to get wound up over this one for obvious reasons. Where's my coffee? All right. So I'm going to get wound up for this one. And we'll probably get the dick waivers. So I don't have the chats showing because I've just decided that I will engage with comments as I see fit. For the most part, it goes okay, but I do find it a little bit derailing. And I just think it works better if people, like they'll be, it can be a bit distracting. So, and also just as, I think I've been watching back, and every time that my videos haven't gone well, been some flasher in my comments or someone derailing or, whatever. But I'd rather just talk and say what I want to say. And this is why we can't have nice things because, it's largely related to what I'm going to talk about today, which is Free Britney. Now, let me just do some adjusting. I apologize for my lighting situation and stuff. I need a new lens. There's a lot of things I need. I just, I make do. As I get older, the eye bag situation needs to be addressed, but that's okay. It's almost like the message is more important than my appearance. Who would have thought? So, we'll warm up, but I have a feeling that it's going to get good. I have a feeling it's going to get good because I got some ranting to do. I got some rants. So, on the same day, so for those that aren't aware of this story with Britney Spears, okay, a former child star, Disney, okay, famous for the song "Baby Hit Me, Baby, One More Time," okay, midriff out, teenage girl, sexualized schoolgirl was her first video. She was on Disney, that pure place of purity where they are, there's a kind of, it's funny how when you look back on Disney as a mum and you go, there's a little bit of a creepy pedo fucking vibe there. This overly wholesome but sexual come to me fucking thing that they do with these young Disney stars. Okay. Let's not forget, Britney was a Disney kid. Okay. Child star. Oh, wow. Fuck. Okay. Thanks, Peter. Okay, Peter gave $23 fucking super chat. Legend. Okay, well done. Okay, that was very nice of you. That's a nice distraction. Anyway, child star, Britney Spears. You're a young girl, okay? You're a young girl in this world. And you have a song, your hit song, your breakthrough song is, people forget this shit, okay? Your breakthrough song is you in it actually looks pretty wholesome in retrospect, but at the time, the school uniform, the sexy school uniform thing, okay, she was 16 years old. She was in a sexy school uniform, midriff bare, mini skirt, fucking that Catholic schoolgirl sexualized thing, okay? Now, obviously, I saw it the other day because we're watching that This Is Pop thing, and it just happened to show up, and I was like, wow, that looks positively wholesome compared to today, compared to the freakoids of today. But there was a point where that was inappropriate. She was became, thrust into the world stage, heavily sexualized, and also this American thing where she was that whole virgin thing. Remember her and Justin Timberlake? We're waiting for marriage. Remember all this shit? People forget like this woke shit. It's not new. This is just a new version. It's new and improved American bullshit. Okay. I imagine that George Carlin would just roll his eyes and go, oh yeah, same old bullshit. Same shit, different day. I'm pure. I'm saving myself for marriage. Here's our chastity rings. Remember all that? The abstinence rings and all that shit. The Christians, they figured out, and Disney, they figured out that, somehow, for some reason, marketing this Christian horseshit chastity nonsense to mainstream, somehow you could productize sex education and it not backfire. And I kind of see that, how this, again, I'm going to digress, but I'm just warming up. I'm going to fucking Hannah Gadsby on you motherfuckers. I'm going to get there. Okay. And I'm also not scripted. I've got a rough idea of what I want to say. So if something comes out that I regret, I apologize. But this is quite personal and very highly personal stuff. So Britney Spears, marketed as this virgin, wholesome, this paradox, this Madonna whore fucking paradox that women have to fucking have had to exist within forever. You're not whore enough. You're not mum enough. You're either wholesome like mum or a whore. You're not a fully formed person with your own ideas. Okay. You're not equal. You are either Madonna or you're a whore. Or you're a fucking, or you're a witch. That's sort of that's the part that the Madonna whore leaves off, is that everyone who doesn't fit within the Madonna whore complex is a witch. Now, I can see why wokeism would have been, there was a reasonable backlash to that Puritan stuff. But we're talking about Britney Spears and how she represented that in culture. Okay. Britney Spears was highly sexualized, okay, from an early age. She was, very carefully managed by her parents, okay. She got very, very wealthy very fast. She was pushed out and sexualized and, I'm not a girl. Remember that song? Right? She was mocked for it. So not only was she expected to perform these fucking creepy pedo songs for creepy pedo men, for creepy pedo church people, but also for MTV. Okay. This young girl was expected to live in the public eye, whilst everyone also mocked her for not being able to sing, which is not true, for being not legitimate as an artist. Again, it's that whole Madonna whore complex. If you're not Madonna and you're not a whore, and we can't control you, if we can't put you in that box or that category, then you're not a woman and you cease to exist and you are not worth our time. Okay. That's the context of Britney Spears. Let's not dehumanize her. Okay. Like I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Britney, but I've, again, in music industry, I'm familiar with Britney. Okay. I also am familiar with Britney's personal life. Okay. Through various, whatever. Imagine that you're thrust into the world stage as a child. We've seen that play out how many times? What happens? What that kind of fame does to you? Why we think that kids seeking this is healthy in any way, shape or form is beyond me. That's what shifted in the last decade with America, is where somehow fame is just this we need to address that. This celebrity culture, first off. Who would want to be famous? I can barely handle being tiny, little influential. I'm this angry with fucking 7,000 Twitter followers. I'm this fucking mad on Twitter every day with 7,000 followers. And the small amount of influence that I have. And every time I have been on TV or, done anything of note or gone viral or anything like that, the amount of shit that I've gotten, why would anybody want to go viral? Nobody does. Or nobody should. And if they do, then they have no idea what it actually involves. And this is why grown men piling on these young TikTok kids when they don't know what they're doing is wrong. Now, Britney Spears, highly sexualized, Madonna whore complex, okay? Britney and Justin, okay? All that stuff. And then Britney marries her dancer and has kids with him, okay? People forget that Britney Spears was postpartum pretty much when she had her breakdown. The reason I know this is because I too was postpartum, and I believe that, that and she was going through some shit. Okay. She was in a new relationship. I think she'd just had, was it a second? I should have actually looked up that. I'll look that part up because that part is actually significant. Because I think that we can all relate to what's happened here, and I will get to the point. Hang on. So Britney Spears, kids, right? But, I believe she was postpartum. Anyway, we'll move on. People forget. I think people, this whole celebrity thing is that we're fickle. We're fickle. And we rewrite history to suit a narrative that may not actually be the full story. And we're seeing this with the culture wars. We're seeing people present various amounts of bullshit, right? That is true. And then when you dig that little bit deeper or you find the context, it's just perfectly reasonable, right? Like that Facebook radicalisation pop-up that everyone's gotten it's an information campaign. Okay. If you've joined political groups that are a certain issue, then you will get one. I've read it. I've looked into it. I've asked about it. I think it's a smart move. And I think that if you're offended by it and fucking, you know what? Orwell is the new Godwin's law of 2021. Okay. Americans think that taxes are Orwellian. Americans think that anyone who disagrees with them is an Orwellian. They're fucking idiots. Can we just say Americans are fucking morons? My God. Jesus. Spend more time referencing books and more time reading them. Hang on. Where's their kids? Hang on. Where are we? I really do want to know because I just don't want to make statements that are fucking hell. How hard is it to find this? Where's her kids? Doesn't say. Whatever. I know that she was sort of she just okay, here we go. What it was. 2008, wasn't it? That's right. Okay. Sorry. No, I'm remembering now. I didn't need to look it up. When I saw how long she was married to Kevin Federline, right? So she married Kevin Federline in 2004, had 2 babies within 2 years. She had 2 babies in 2 years. She had 2 C-sections. Okay. I happen to know that because I used to really enjoy remember the celebrity baby blog? I used to enjoy that because I was having kids at the time. And I used to just like seeing babies in the world, And I just happened to know the Britney Spears kids, that she had 2 cesareans within 18 months. Okay. It's got to do a lot to a woman. And then in 2007, her and Kevin Federline broke up and she went through some stuff. She wasn't her best self. She'd had 2 cesareans in 18 months. She's going through a separation and divorce. Okay. She's been sexualized and abused by men her whole fucking life. Okay. She has her only real sense of identity is her fame. She's been followed by paparazzi nonstop her whole life. Okay. And She's going through some shit. She went to a gas station to get some snacks a few times. She went to the fucking 7-Eleven for some Cheezels and some red vines and a milkshake. She's going through some shit. The paparazzi harass her and hound her and degrade her non-stop. Okay? The Young Turks, the bastion of moral integrity, who are demonizing Jimmy Dore right now, who seem to enjoy harassing Britney Spears at the time because she wasn't wearing underwear. And there was the underwear shot. Remember that? That was that famous underwear shot where she went out and they, went up her knickers. Or not lack of knickers, whatever. Okay? Invaded her crotch with a camera and somehow made her to blame. Being stalked relentlessly at gas everywhere she went by men, by grown men, trying to make money off of her pain and her vulnerability and her moment. Okay. In 2008, that culminated. Let's think about what Britney did. What did Britney do? She threw an umbrella. She shaved her head. I'm not minimizing bipolar. Again, I'm not her therapist. I'm not saying I'm not questioning, it's not my place. It's no one's place. You can't diagnose from afar. But what I can say is I can tell you about my experience. That when I was going through my divorce, my ex pushed me to my fucking limit too. And I got diagnosed with bipolar. I don't have bipolar. I got diagnosed with bipolar because he convinced me that I was crazy. After an entire marriage of being negged, put down, every time that I wanted to pursue something professionally, it would always be, well, no, I'm the breadwinner. You've got to stay home. Everything that you do has to be around my job because that's what my parents did. So therefore, that's what you do. I'm in charge. I get to determine your life. Sound familiar? Britney's life was predetermined, as is the life of a lot of women. Okay? Our lives are predetermined. You could say that we're assigned female at birth. We're assigned a certain experience at birth, which is to be second-class citizens who don't have control over our lives. Unless, we're given the illusion of control, but it's one big stick. It's a big carrot and a big stick. We're assigned female at birth. So Britney Spears was, after having had 2 C-sections in the space of 18 months, and then subsequently, from a dude who, from all accounts, I don't know. We don't know. But from all accounts, did pretty well out of this thing by claiming that she was crazy and claiming that he was the only one who could look after their kids. Had that done to me too, because she's crazy, right? She threw an umbrella. She shaved her head. She went to gas stations. She was recorded going, she committed the high crime, much like lesbians sitting on chairs. She committed the high crime of going to a 7-Eleven for a fucking lolly, ice cream, fucking snacks. She's walking free with bare feet, getting a frappe. Arrest that woman. Now, I'm not saying that the diagnosis is not correct. It's not my position. I'm just saying I relate to it on my level, with my experience post-divorce, post-separation, after a lifetime of abuse from men. Maybe she fucking just had a minute and had a moment of realization. She threw an umbrella. In 2008, her father managed to get a full conservatorship over her estate, her career, her decisions, her body. She's not allowed to make any legal decisions without his say so. He has all her. At the time, Britney Spears was worth actually over $100 million, I believe. Now it's 60. Okay, but they keep pushing her out there, putting her on Vegas runs, Vegas deals. I'm just saying, she threw an umbrella at someone who was stalking her. I've had a stalker. I've had 2 stalkers actually online. And it's not nice. Police didn't do anything. I was hounded relentlessly by someone who had decided that, because my ex-husband was saying things about me online, that he decided that he would just get in on it and start sending me harassing phone calls. And I would be waking up to voicemails. You're a horrible, vicious dog. Those sorts of things, okay? There's a point where I had to shut down my emails after my divorce because a pack of people incited by my ex-husband, okay, decided that not only was I crazy because I dared to exist on Twitter, but they would just destroy me. They would just flood my email inbox all day, every day with shit and abuse. My Twitter would be flooded with abuse. And, there were no consequences. And you know what happened? I defended myself and I got called crazy. And I was the problem. And this is all I'm saying. There's a common thread here. And again, I'm comfortable with this. I'm not. I don't share anything I haven't dealt with. I'm not one to bleed. I'm saying that this is the conversation that we need to have. 60 women or thereabouts came out and accused Bill Cosby of rape. Okay. I think there's a good chance that he fucking did it. Pretty good chance. Again, the legal system. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to honor the legal system. But if you read Germaine Greer's On Rape, you'll read some of the stats around this, which is that the barrier, the burden of proof in trying to get a rapist, just even with the most compelling evidence, okay, it's hard to get a conviction. 3% conviction rate for rape. Okay. 3%. Oh, but women are rapists too. No. Derailing. 60 women came out. They managed to get him on 3. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure that every woman, as we know from the Me Too movement, every woman has had some sort of interaction where they've had to either ignore it, let it go, or he's gotten away with it, or they haven't reported it. Remember, Me Too wasn't about, it was about the fact that you had something happen to you that you didn't report. Okay, that was what happened at the beginning. It was, yes, it's happened to me. It's happened to every woman. And if it hasn't happened to you, then you're probably the anomaly. You're probably a female rapist. You're probably that rare. Okay. But this is where we need to change this conversation. Okay. Because on the same day that we found out that a conservatorship, because a woman threw an umbrella and shaved her head during her divorce after having had 2 C-sections in the space of 2 years. Okay. I'm not questioning the diagnosis. That's not my place. But if I were sitting in a room with Britney Spears, I would be having a conversation. And I would actually initiate, I'd be asking the question and I'd have a do-over. How are you doing, Britney, now, 10 years later? Do you really need to be on that Seroquel that drugs you the fuck out? Do you need it? Do you really need that? Do you feel that you need that drug? They also put an IUD in her against her wishes. Okay. She threw an umbrella. Sometimes when you put it down to the, when you get things down to the bare bones, it's really hard to fucking not see the bigger picture here. Right? Throughout my career, I've had to work very, very, very hard to be listened to be taken seriously. Okay. The bar, and I'll tell you this now, the bar is so much higher for women than it is for men. Every day from the minute I wake up, I'm assigned female at birth. Okay. I don't get to choose it. I don't choose it. Okay. I'm just assigned female at birth. Because I wake up and I open my social media. And I see Britney Spears is still in her conservatorship after, 13 years? Because she threw a fucking umbrella. And then I see that Bill Cosby gets off on a technicality, having raped, allegedly, drugged and raped 60 women. Okay. I then check my emails and I see that I've got some demand or request from men who just expect. I open my emails and I've got some essay from some rando who watched an old YouTube video of mine and then proceeds to write a 10-page essay correcting me and debunking everything that I've talked about on a fucking YouTube stream. And then demanding a rebuttal and a response. Okay. I'll put something on LinkedIn that I know about my industry, or I'll put something online. Okay. As a leader in my industry, there's very few people that fucking are experts in my particular area, only to be told how things are. And if I turn around and go, well, yeah, I know. No need to be so rude. What are you, crazy? What are you, rude? Don't be like that. I was just joking. Okay. Everything is designed for men. Okay. It's a man's world. What are you? Crazy? Don't point it out, because that's just negative, Taya. So I wake up, I check my email, I check my LinkedIn, I check my Facebook. I'll get a message from some dick head, right? Most of my messages are okay, but I'm just saying this is the assigned female experience. Okay. Which is that I'll go onto Twitter and see fucking mentions and, my mentions. Oh, look, what happened today? Die, turf. Die, transphobe. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, actually, point of law, that is what is known as the fucking XYZ fallacy. Let me explain further. You don't know how it works in business. We don't do things this way in business. No, men do it that way. Women don't. We don't assert ourselves in business. You don't get ideas that you might actually be smarter than me or be able to pull rank on me or get a seat at the actual table where the decisions are made. We'll hire you as our CMO, and then we'll have C-level meetings that leave out the CMO. Because God forbid a woman is part of the decision-making team. It's my life too. We'll make decisions about your life without your say-so. Because we decided how things are And you don't get a fucking say in it. And if you do have a say in it, you're a TERF. And if you do try to have a say in it, you're crazy. And if you do try to assert yourself, you're rude. And if you do fucking go to court to try and get some of this taken away, like so that you can have some agency and maybe think maybe I might be ready to have another baby, that's you. Who do you think you are making decisions for yourself? We're all, and again, I'm not, okay, this is hyperbolic. It's a performance, okay? Women are held captive every fucking day. From the time we get up to the time we go to sleep. Because the time we get up is dictated to us by the shit we've got to do during the day. We've got to look after our kids, okay? Which is fine. We love doing that, right? But men should too. Women don't get sleep-ins. Women don't get that stuff either. We got to, again, I'm not dismissing the burden of men, but this is fucking my talk about women. We set our alarm around you. We go to bed around you. Our errands, our chores are around your work day. Okay? Our routines. Fucking our days, literally our days are determined by our children's school hours and our husband's work hours. Assuming that we don't have shit going on for ourselves. Okay? Even then. Just pointing it out that we're not in control of our lives, okay? And if you are in business, okay, you'll get men who approach you and they'll spend months just talking and talking and talking and talking. Men get to make statements without ever asking a question. I don't know if you've noticed that, ladies in business, that men will just talk at you. And they can go months without ever actually asking a single question about anybody or anything other than themselves. Women are expected to ask questions of men. We have to ask them. Okay. We're the ones who have to do the work. That's, when we talk about the emotional labor, that's what we're talking about. Women are the ones that are expected to build the bridge, to ask the questions. Okay. But the second we make a statement rather than a question that's peppered with politeness and tits, we're called rude. That's not how it's done in business because we decided what your life was for you. We're going to put Quaaludes in your drink and we're going to take something from you that can never be given back. But that's predetermined because men have the right to take whatever they want from women. Men have the right to tell us what we are and who we are and what our lives are. And we're supposed to just take that. And we go to court and we ask for the judge to say, hey, can I have control of the money that I've earned, please? And I'd like to have control over my own body, please. And they say no. Because that's not what is good for you. What do you think you are? Do you think you're a person? You think you're a person? What do you mean you've got a headache? I'm horny. You've gone all day with all this shit and you got a bit of a headache and I still can't understand what the fuck is wrong because it's all about me and my plans and my needs and my desires and what I want. And what I declare is true at all times, or you'll be punished severely. Here's a conservatorship. Here's a get cancelled from your job or fired. And then have to spend 3 years fighting in court. Thank you, Maya. To fucking fight for your right to not get fired because you don't believe that a man declaring that he's a woman is true. That has to go to court. And the first court that you go to says, nah, we agree. Be more polite, please. Thankfully, a higher court saw some sense. But let's not forget that despite the victory that Maya had, and the victories that we'll continue to have, we have to go to court and argue that we are people and with the right to a fucking opinion on our own lives. Does nobody see this? That she threw a fucking umbrella. I said, that's a man. I said, I don't believe that we have a shared experience because you don't understand what I'm talking about right now. She threw an umbrella and she's crazy. I said, that's a man. I think maybe there's a problem there, guys. You know, in business, like, did you have no idea what I've gone through? And then, like, we just, this constant, impossible standard. And then they turn around and they just, this fucking, I call it the credibility carrot. That's what I call it in business. It's fucking, where they just keep moving the bar and moving the bar and moving the bar and moving the bar, using this dangling of fucking credibility. If you just behave yourself this little bit more, if you put on a little more lipstick, you smile a bit more, lean in more. If you're nicer, if you use just an extra emoji. If you put she, her in your fucking bio as a signal that men can fucking coerce you into like anything that we want, then maybe someone will listen to you and treat you as a full human being. But then it'll take 60 of you, where 3 of you may get a chance. And one technicality will fucking undo all of it. Just saying, I want to throw some umbrellas too and shave my fucking head because men hate short hair. That's another thing. Men who control people's hair. Women's hair. I once cut my hair short. Do you know how many men had issue with me having short hair? Because it wasn't feminine enough. Or these men that go on fucking things and talk about their wife, how she cut her hair short. And fuck off. No wonder she shaved her fucking head. I'm starting to think that Britney Spears is more sane than the rest of us. And that maybe we should all shave our heads and throw some more umbrellas. Just saying. It's a matter of perspective. Women are not full humans. We are not in control of our own lives. Men have the money. Men have the power. Men have the networks. And they will use everything at their disposal. Their lawyers, their money, their power, their male solidarity to take everything from us if we give them the chance. Now, again, I need to clarify this for the fucking dullards. Okay? Men as a class. I'm very happily married to a wonderful man who yesterday, when I was upset, like a lot of women were, after Me Too, after all of this, watching this fail, watching the, watching men turn Me Too into a fucking 5-year conversation about cancel fucking culture. Jesus fucking Christ. Maybe. Maybe. There's some fucking reflection there. Somehow, men managed to take Me Too and monetize it into an echo chamber talking about fucking cancel culture. Yeah, it's a problem. Authoritarians are a problem. Yeah. But look at yourselves. Bullying young fucking women. Bullying fucking, pylons of TikTok kids. Confused kids who are just trying to break this fucking nonsense and annoy you. They're trying to fucking rebel as best they know how against the fucking, abstinent, the bullshit that they've been taught, that our generation was taught. This purity nonsense. And no wonder Americans are confused. They don't invest in sex education because they don't even teach fucking evolution in schools. You don't think the Christians are to blame for this fucking woke shit? You don't think it's just another version of the same fucking stupidity? The televangelism? You should be banned from the fucking internet. Seriously, you're radicalizing everybody. Facebook's trying to tell you. But we're held to fucking, the most impossible standards that if any man did. Elon Musk is smart, right? But he's not a genius. He's a fucking asshole. You know what? I'm smarter than Elon Musk, not in engineering, but in fucking, in various things. Where's my fucking genius? No, women are a nuisance. How many women geniuses do you see out there where they're actually sitting there celebrating that this woman is a genius? Unless she's parroting bullshit like fucking Candace Owens and those stupid fucks. Okay? Why are they elevating fucking, these people? Where are all the hard-working women? The one woman who has actually fucking hustled her way up into being one of the richest women in the world is a fucking transphobe now. And a hate figure for saying exactly the same shit that I'm saying right now. Yeah. God forbid a girl gets lippy because we decided her life for her. J.K. Rowling was not supposed to succeed. She was supposed to be kept desperate, needing men. She was supposed to be, in poverty and alone and a single mum. That was her place because we decided what her place was. How dare she think that she has anything more than us, that we decided. And she said, fuck you. I'm a billionaire. I have control over my life. I could sit and watch this happen. I could sit and watch the same abusive bullshit over and over again in both tiny and massive ways every single day because we're assigned female at birth. I could just be quiet. I could just do what Oprah Winfrey does. And okay, again, that's more complex. I'm not going to go there. But she didn't. She put her whole reputation on the line. Weirdly, because she said fucking nothing wrong. The fact that she said nothing wrong and her reputation is in tatters And then they turn around and go, well, you're a billionaire. Yeah. Not with any of your fucking help. No, I wasn't. I did it myself. I fucking took charge of my life and didn't let you tell me what a fucking good book was and what people wanted. I am smart. I know my own life. I have control over my fucking life. Fuck you. And she tried to talk about that universal female experience from an abusive marriage all the way up to, what we're seeing now. And they went, well, fuck you for that. Who do you think you are? We know better. We're men. Put a coat of paint on it. Nothing a fucking surgery won't fix. It's just like fucking Botox. What's the harm? It's botulism, fuckheads. It's just like, why wouldn't you just put more eyeshadow on? Well, it's got heavy metals in it. It's like, it's not good for your skin. Okay? I'm sorry. I am wearing my performance. Okay. Don't take me literally. But it's from dominating the conversation right up to the fact that on any given day, you see a woman who has no agency and no charge, and she has no control over her own life, and she hasn't since birth because Britney Spears was assigned female at birth. That made it okay for her family to fucking put her on the world stage and sexualize her and then demonize her and then seize control of all her assets. She's now in her fucking 40s and she has to ask to have an IUD removed. And 60 women come out, 3 of which result in charges. And those charges get off on a technicality. And every woman had a moment where they went, you know what? This is fucked. Maybe we should start throwing some fucking umbrellas for a bit. And that was me too. Me too. We started throwing umbrellas and singing in unison. For a minute, we had some unity. And women just finally said, enough. From being mansplained every day to our exes who think that we are nothing but broodmares and meal delivery people. Enough. And then they called the hats transphobic. And then those who said, hang on a minute, maybe you don't know a thing or two about this experience, and maybe you should calm the fuck down, and maybe this is the same old misogyny. We're called crazy. Wouldn't want to be rude. There's no place for that in a polite society because I'm a woman now. I put on a coat of paint. She'll be right. Just buff it out. The female experience is not something you can just buff out like the panel of a fucking car. Okay? Anyway, so women in their 50s. Women retire with a much smaller percentage of superannuation than men. Superannuation is retirement savings in Australia. So retirement savings, statistically. Because we're out of the workforce for so long, for a long time, we generally work part-time. And because we're obviously not given given as many opportunities as men. And when we do get them, we have to work 4 times harder for them because of the impossible standard. We have to spend an hour and a half straightening our hair and putting makeup on and moisturizing and showering and fucking ironing clothes and fucking, all that stuff, doing kids' school lunches, making sure, putting all this stuff in our head. But we've also still got to be a better lawyer or a better doctor or a better fucking professional or a better thinker than the man who basically got his full 8 hours of sleep. Got to relax when he got home. And, he just turned up and was ready for work. What is she, distracted? I think she's distracted by her children. I don't think that she could get to the top levels of things. I don't think that she's really capable or very committed to her job. Personally, I think that her commitment is not as high. We're doing 10 different things at once and we still fucking do it better. And men know that. And again, this is generalizing, fellas, relax. And yet we hit our 50s and men tend to leave marriages with most of the assets and we get the kids. And if we're lucky, they might pay child support. Again, generally speaking, my situation's different. Or if you're in a situation where you're not compliant and can't be controlled and you say, I'm leaving this thing. I don't accept. And you maybe throw an umbrella. In my case, it was a spatula. That then gets recorded against you in the court and they take your kids away. And then they have everyone believe you're crazy and cite a mob on you, strip you of everything and frame you as crazy. That's happened to me. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I don't have bipolar disorder. Okay? I was going through a divorce. I was having a tough time. That was the time I cut my hair short. See what I'm saying here? High crime of having the audacity to think that I was a human being who could make decisions for myself. So yesterday, I saw women re-traumatized. I was quite re-traumatized by it as well. Because it's not, if this is something that men can fucking hear, every single, and this is something that married men will probably be familiar with, which is that women, there's a pattern. This is cumulative. This adds to our view of the world on a daily fucking basis, which is that every single day we live with a deck of cards that are stacked against us all day, every day. We turn up, we have to let things go all day. We have to let things go because we know that if we make waves about it, we're going to be considered difficult or rude or have our money withdrawn because we dared fucking defend ourselves. That's always there. That threat is always there. Okay? That's the reality of living life as a woman, is that there's always that threat that if you, and so that's why Britney exists as that. She just exists as the embodiment of that, of what can happen to you if you act out. Okay? This is not about mental illness. I'm not in a position to judge that. This is an outsider thing. I'm not a clinician, okay? And even if I was a clinician, diagnosing someone that you haven't actually spent several sessions with is, whatever. I'm just saying this on the outside. But women live with this constant letting shit go, not making waves, not speaking up because we might be called crazy, we might be called evil, or you might call us ugly, or even worse, you might hit, threaten, or kill us. In the last week, a lesbian has been beaten up by a trans activist. Police did nothing. J.K. Rowling has received explicit public death threats from somebody who has killed before. Nothing. Bill Cosby raped 60 women. Women deal with fucking 20, this microaggressions thing. Every single day I can think of, and I've got a good life. Every single day I can think of 20 instances of misogyny throughout my day where if I focus on it, I would just be like so much more angry than I am. Okay. I'm very grateful. I shouldn't have to be grateful, but I'm very grateful that I've got good men in my life. Okay. Now, so before I've lived under abuse before. Right? Every single day we have a headache. And then, so we see something like this and we it's just obvious. It was like with coronavirus when we saw the billionaires just openly exploit the working class like that. And how can you see those two things side by side and not just go, fuck it? And we did. Yesterday, everyone was upset because it's not the one thing. It's every single day that we have to go through this stuff in big and small ways, collectively, because we were assigned female at birth. We were assigned an experience at birth based on our experiences, based on our sex. Okay? And that's why it's insulting to think that you can just identify in and out of this existence. And not only think that that's no big deal, okay? I understand why women identify out of fucking womanhood. We get that. I get that. I wish I could. I wish that was, you know what? I do. I would like to identify out of all of this. I would like to identify out of my Twitter mentions, out of all of this shit, out of being mansplained 24/7 about something I've got a master's in, out of this, out of that. I'd love to identify out of that. Pass me the fucking binders. But that won't happen, will it? It's insane. We have to go to court to prove that we are entitled to our own fucking thoughts. And we have to go to court to get an IUD taken out that we don't want in our own bodies because we threw a fucking umbrella 12 years ago after being stalked by men who were trying to shoot up my skirt. Do people not see the absurdity that we're living in? And if you go to court and then you say, hey, I think that I should have control over my own life, Your Honor. I think maybe that, the state has no say in my body and thoughts and autonomy and anything. And they say, no. You don't have control over your own life. And not only that, the one space that you carve for yourself is exclusionary of men. You transphobe. What are you, crazy? What are you, radicalised? What are you, stupid? You must be stupid if you think you've got control over your own life. Do as you're told. Nah. Let's shave our heads and start throwing umbrellas. Fuck them. But, you know, like you sit there and you look at the whole of that story and you go, you know, like with Me Too. For 1 minute, women were united for a minute. Just 1 fucking minute. We just started to figure things out. And the people with dicks somehow decided to implode and tear us apart by calling our fucking vaginas transphobic. Maybe. Just for 2 fucking seconds. It's not about you. Maybe for 2 seconds. Maybe for 2 seconds. If you know what those people that say, well, we need to move on. This is what happened with the rainbow flag. Oh, well, we've achieved all we need to achieve. Now we've got to focus on these men. No, it's not settled. It's not over. Gay rights is fucking not over worldwide. Maybe Stonewall and those organizations should focus on the worldwide fight for homophobia across the board. Progressive movements, civil rights movements. We've got these fucking American men turning around and saying, it's settled. What do you want? You got equality. You get to go to court. You get the right to have a lawyer. You get paid a salary. What more do you want? It's settled. Now let's look at us. Let's talk about cancel culture and how we're the victims. Let's talk about how critical race theory is fucking taking over the world because we're uncomfortable. Let's divide white women and black women over us because we're comparing our experience as people who think a coat of paint makes you a woman with the civil rights movement and put fucking gasoline on the grievances from the valid fucking grievances of intersectionality in America. Okay? That yes, white feminists need to fucking acknowledge that, you know, we're a bit racist sometimes. Or we ignore the problems of women of color. We tend to talk over them. We do the same thing men do to us. But hey, show up in my mentions and talk about the point of law. Let's do that. Cool. Let's have Charlotte Clymer talk about how they're in solidarity with us, despite having fucking deliberately divided the women's movement. If you're a woman, then you would understand how critical it was that we were united. When a grown woman in her 40s has an IUD in her without her consent, because she threw a fucking umbrella. And Cosby fucking got off on a technicality. Can't even use the race card with this one. You can't even use the rich lady card with this one. Britney Spears is quite wealthy. Bill Cosby is a person of color. What's the common ground there? I don't know, maybe. Women throw umbrellas. Men throw punches. Women are a bit rude. Men rape. Women tell a joke to get through their day. And men have hurt feelings that justify murder. She asked for it. Women refuse to acknowledge that a man can put on a coat of paint. I'm not dismissing the struggle of trans people. I'm saying performance. Stop derailing it, men. This is the woman's perspective. It's about us. Men think that they can just identify in and out of this female experience, this collective grief of watching another one get away with it, and then be reminded of every other time that every other man has gotten away with it, up to and including murder. It's just a bit of stalking. Just block him. He's just a creep. Just ignore him. It's for the best. He's taking your kids. I'm just like, but women have the benefit in the court system. Am I right, fellas? No, it's because the court think that women are nothing but broodmares. Try being the woman who doesn't get her kids and see how people treat you. Yeah. Women have all the advantages. All I'm saying, men get to talk at you for months and months and months and waste hours and hours and hours of your time. Never pay you. And then if you say you need payment, you're aggressive and rude. Men can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and never ask a question. Women are required to ask questions. If we ever make a statement, we're rude and crazy and mean. Don't be so negative. What do you think you're doing? Not politely letting things go. When I grab your ass in a nightclub, what are you doing? Why are you so worried? I mean, it's not like if you walk outside, I'm going to harass you and no one's going to do anything. It's not like if we happen to be alone and I happen to be a psycho that you might get killed. Why don't you just say no? Why don't you say something? Where are all the feminists talking about this issue? That happened. Fucking hell. I'm here, ladies, to help. Where have you been? Has anyone noticed this problem? Yeah. We've been silenced and bullied. Fucking dickheads. Then, yesterday, we might need a minute to go, hey, this is probably a bit unfair. And the man in my mentions, well, how law works is, well, you know how law works is? Men who've raped 60 women get off. And women who've thrown an umbrella are under an unending conservatorship. And women have to go to court to prove that they're allowed to think that a man's not a woman. And it takes them years and thousands of dollars when we don't earn anywhere near what you earn. It's a stacked deck. It's bullshit. And that's what I'm saying. She threw a fucking umbrella. How many times do I need to remind you that Britney Spears had 2 C-sections. She was going through a divorce. She shaved her head and threw an umbrella. For fuck's sake. Louis C.K. is going to be fine. I have a feeling Harvey Weinstein's going to be fine. Rose McGowan has to struggle to survive because she dared suggest that maybe there's more to this than lipstick, heels, and fucking brunches sponsored by fucking Raytheon. And that you have no fucking idea. And the one thing that you like is universal with women is that we are second-class citizens. Now, you may be a rich, wealthy, pretty, beautiful second-class citizen, which means that maybe they might not harass you to your face. maybe, just maybe, if you're lucky, you might not be harassed to your face. But, you know, that's not real. That's still not equal, is it? Because they're still fucking talking about you behind your back. And if you, you know, get a little too lippy, there's always that revenge porn put on Pornhub that takes years and years and years to take down. Oh, but she ruined my reputation. My reputation. What am I going to do? Oh, yeah, well, what about all the women that you've called crazy or stupid or fucking evil or witches or Karens for asserting about a simple little boundary? And this is why, for those men who may be watching who are being confused by me refusing to work with them because they have like trampled on a boundary, this is what I'm talking about. I will accept your apology. You're not in charge of my life. You're not in charge of my thoughts, and you do not get to tell me how I speak and what I do and how I run my business. Okay? I don't give a fuck who you are. I won't put up with it. I will not emoji my way through my own business. The reason why I start my own business is so that I can have control over my life. Because this is the only way that I can do that, which is by saying no. Because if I work for someone else, I have to accept it. And I have to keep turning a blind eye and, you know, shutting up and pretending that you have any fucking idea what it's like to be a woman. And you don't. So anyway. Hi, Axel. Thank you. So Axel's here. Axel Gertner. Thank you for saying sorry. This is more, okay. So if this is the first time you've seen, I'm sort of just doing, there's a part riffing performance. I'm not upset, okay? Take this as performance. But there's some real issues here. And this is what I just, this is the thing where it's like, well, maybe I can explain to dudes how this is cumulative. And I talked about this yesterday, I think a little bit on Twitter. But I've talked about this before, which is like, okay, can you do the laundry, please? Can you do the dishes, please? Hey, love, can you do the dishes? Hey, do you mind picking up the thing? Okay. Do you mind? Can you do that? Do you mind? Do you mind? Oh, okay. Do you mind? Do you mind? Hey, don't forget, can you do the thing? Fucking hell, can you do that thing? Why are you yelling? Men will relate to this, and every woman that's watching this will relate to that interaction. And then you go, there's no need to be mad. Why didn't you say something? And we got that guy, that fucking journo from the US, coming in and going, where are the feminists? It's the feminists' fault that this issue has gotten this far. No, we've been saying stuff. And the one time that we finally became effective, we were called transphobic. So we need your help to say, fuck off. It's not transphobic, fellas. It's not about you. The guys who show up in our replies arguing points of law when we're grieving about the fact that the legal system is just everything is rigged. And you keep saying that it's not. And yes, I agree that in an ideal world where you've got a dick, the legal system is fair. And this goes for fucking race as well. We have to turn around and, I mean, I've seen this with my own eyes. There is an imbalance of treatment between, you know, based on the color of your skin and socioeconomic status and a number of different factors. So to turn around and say that there aren't problems is basically that you're not listening. Why didn't you ask? Why? Anyone who's surprised by the George Floyd thing escalating the way that it did is not paying attention, because this has been going on for a very long time worldwide. You can be one of those people who focuses on cancel culture. All these chicks are holding us accountable for all of the shit. And it might not come out perfectly, because guess what? I don't think a punch or being raped is a perfect way to express yourself either, but for some reason, that's perfectly acceptable. I don't think being thrown across the room is a healthy way to express yourself either, fellas. But maybe we're just a bit mad. Maybe we're just a bit fed up. Maybe just throwing an umbrella from time to time is all we've got. And maybe we're not that bad. Maybe misgendering is not that bad. Okay? Maybe in the grand scheme of things, when a woman saying that that's a man and a woman having to go to court to prove that a woman doesn't have a dick, and having to spend all of our time and all of our resources and all of our day and all of the small amount of money that all of us collectively have as a class fighting something that should be obvious to you. And then you show up in our mentions and fucking demand our time and send email after email, just sucking our time and everything and draining us of all our resources that maybe we're allowed to just fucking shave our head and go, fuck it. Oh, but those bra burners are a bit crazy. No, they're women that have had enough of your shit. Right? We as women in this case, we as women and feminists. Anyway, we could talk about it maybe offline, Axel. But introducing me, we'll talk about it later. Axel, don't tell me to slow down. I literally was just talking about men who dangle favors and asked me to shut. No. I will do what I want to do the way I want to do it, and you will listen or you will not listen. I don't need your help. I have a network. This is a performance. Listen. Just behave. Just slow down. Just be nicer. Get your tits out. Here, do you want $1? You want $1? Let me put $1 in your knickers. I'll put $1 in your knickers if you fucking do as I say. Reflect, Axel. These interactions. And this is what I'm talking about. It's not about women being sensitive bitches to microaggression. It's about the fact that we're literally telling you that it's not wanted, and then you just go ahead and do it because you just don't get it. And I know you're probably a good person, but this is the stuff that I'm trying to get across. I don't want your help on your terms. I want you to be a decent person who sees me as a human being who is capable of understanding my own brand strategy, my own voice, and my own performance. I've been 25 years in this industry. I know how to do this. I'm not taught you're maybe not my target audience. Women are my target audience. So, anyway, on that note, thanks, Axel. That's great. I look forward to an equal meeting where you let me do things the way I want to do them. I'm going to go. I think it's been too long, but I think I've made my point. Learn, don't learn. Help, don't help. But, that's how I see things. I think I'm going to go. Yep. Sorry, a message. Got distracted. Live stream. Whatever. You don't have a network. See, Axel has. See, look this. Okay, here we go. Case study. I don't have a network. Apparently, I don't have a network. It's interesting, isn't it? Well, why would you assume I don't have a network? That's interesting. Very interesting. I have quite the network. Yeah, Axel does sound so. Yeah, I'm just saying this is actually quite an interesting case study, isn't it? Look, see, this is interesting. See, this is men's helping. This is men thinking they're helping. This is mansplaining. I have a network, Axel. I have a network of men like you who tell me to behave. I have a network of men who dangle cash in front of women, and because they're not asking for a lap dance, they think that they're not asking for a fucking figurative lap dance. I'm not going to degrade myself and do things. You don't call the shots. Okay. I'm the boss of my company, and I'm quite capable of working together with women to achieve what I want to achieve. So anyway, I'm going to go. That was an interesting example. I'm sure Axel will not be forthcoming. I'm pretty sure Axel's help is conditional based on me not telling him to fuck off, which I do with everyone who doesn't seem to understand that women are quite capable of figuring out their lives without their help. I'm 42 years old. I've been 25 years in tech and politics. I have a master's degree and I'm studying to be a fucking qualified psychologist. I am setting up a publishing company. It's my third business. I'm fine. The reason I don't have a network is because I'm not in the Dick and Balls Club and I won't capitulate to it. The reason I'm not rich is because you guys like dangling the money and get me to behave. And if you are legit, Axel, I'm sure, and you're on board and we're a good fit, I'm sure you'll watch more of my content and get a better sense of who I am without asking me to pitch myself on a live stream and not know who I am or what I do. Maybe you can approach me offline like you would do with a man and make it an appropriate business meeting. Not just show up when you feel like it and dangle fucking money and expect me to be your professional booty call. Maybe I'm just living my life and you come to me because I have something that you want. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to go. I love you, ladies. I love your men's as well. Okay. Sorry, Axel, for picking on you. You just, you said the wrong thing. Men need to learn to read the room. They need to learn, I think men have I think maybe we've just socialized to men to think that their opinion is needed at this moment. And that's, I think, the problem. I think the problem with men thinking that equality has been achieved is that they also think that they don't need to be listening anymore. And they don't respect. I mean, at least in the 50s, at least in the olden days when, it was the original misogyny, there was an understanding that men, you don't treat women that way. You treat women with respect because there is an imbalance of power. But I think that now with this egalitarian shit, this is why it's insidious. Okay, this is the insidiousness of this misogyny. Okay, and again, I'm not calling you a misogynist. I'm talking about society, broadly speaking. I'm sure you're a good person. But that idea that it's been achieved now, so we can't complain. Or it's been achieved now, so you can just, that there's always an equal conversation, or it's an equal transaction. It's not about dangling money. It's power as well. It's a power dynamic. Okay. Like you can talk about critical theory, but that's what critical theory originally was about. It's a critique of that. Just because it's turned into a cult. It's like, you don't disregard all of, the critiques of psychiatry just because Scientologists are attacking psychiatry. You don't abandon all self-improvement and philosophical stuff or the ideas of the Bible because like the Westboro Baptists. It's not the way that it works. You take the grain of salt or the grain of truth out of the idea and you go, okay, well, what can I learn? How can I be a better person? How can I listen? And that's that, there's that idea that somehow this is that thing that men on my chats and my comments and my replies, they don't understand, which is that sometimes maybe we're in the middle of a moment. We're going through stuff you don't understand and you can shut up for a minute. It's not telling you we're not silencing you. We're not telling you to shut up permanently. We're telling you to read the room. That's empathy. That's all. And I think that this false egalitarian individual shit that's coming out of America It's an American, that American individualism and this, like, misogyny bullshit, which is that, you know, oh, here we go. Here we go. Axel's got some advice. I've done nothing to warrant my anger. This is funny, listen. Done nothing to warrant your anger. You would never be a booty call for me. Here we go. See how there we go. See this pattern? There we go. That's shade. There we go. Look. Well, I'm not a YouTuber, but my main channel has almost 30 times the subs of yours. Yeah. So? You're still a fucking... What's that got to do with anything? Who cares? I haven't promoted it in any way, shape, or form, and it's grown organically over 2 years. Okay? Here we go. Look at this. This is so funny. No, but you know what's funny is the second that you start, you assert... Look what happens. See, here you go. You assert yourself. He's nice. He's just trying to help. But you should behave. I'm just trying to help. And then you say, no, thank you. I think I've got it handled. I'm fine. Thanks, Axel. I appreciate it. I'm sure you're a good person. And then guess what? Dick waving, competition. Well, if you knew better, you'd have more followers. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. Who cares about subs? It's not my goal. And then when I fucking roast the shit out of him, oh, well, you wouldn't fuck me anyway. See? And then he plays the victim. I'm not a YouTuber either, Axel. This is my fun thing, Axel. I'm fucking eminently qualified. I run a business, Axel. I'm not a fucking YouTuber, so go fuck yourself. Now, there we go. You wouldn't fuck me anyway. I don't criticize or alienate people. Oh, look, I've not made a gender comment. You cannot move from that. Yeah, it's gendered. Because he wouldn't fuck me anyway. I wouldn't make you a booty call anyway. Behave! What are you? You think you're better than me? YouTuber? I'm a political scientist, fuckface. Now, I'm going to go. That was a nice teachable moment, wasn't it? Thanks, MRA Free. We love you. Nice women's. That was great that Axel showed up because it actually just shows, you know how I spent the first half of the stream sort of walking through what my day's like? That's what my day's like. That's what my day's like. Being called a designer, which, that's meant to be insulting when I'm actually, I'm a political, I actually am well out qualify most of the men in my industry. Okay. Or they call me a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm doing this because it's fun and I'm building a skill, which I'm actually better. I can hold an hour and a half. I can hold an hour and a half live stream despite not being a performer, not being having any interest at all in any of this. And yet I'm better at it than you, probably. Subs don't matter. So that's the thing, see? Axel just raised the bar. And he's like, what do you think? See that they moved the bar, the carrot and the stick. Oh, well, if you knew what you were doing, you'd have more subscribers. If you knew what you were doing, you'd be nicer. If you knew what you were doing, you wouldn't have just a master's. You'd have a PhD as well. Where's your book? Fuck off, Axel. You condescending cunt. All right. So I'm going to go. Look, here we go. Look. One more thing. You didn't say you were fine, though. You immediately played victim and made sexist comment. Oh, I see. So women are sexist. What about the men? The men's feelings are hurt. This isn't a performance. I literally, absolutely feel this way. Hannah Gadsby's not funny. She's not funny at all. Who thought Hannah Gadsby isn't comedy? She's not a comedian. That's a TED Talk. And now I started getting aggressive. He's had to record the entire conversation. Look at this. I sound like your drunk auntie. Thank you. I'm sure if I was your auntie, I'd have to drink too. because my sister gave birth to a complete fuckwit. So anyway, I'm going to go. Yeah, let him go. It's actually a fun, teachable moment. I'm actually enjoying this because actually, you see this thing where like it starts polite, and then when you set a boundary, it's like, yep, and then they get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Okay, because I don't need them, and they don't have control over me, and they can't control my life. I should have done what he said. Who do I think I am, expecting Axel to be a decent human being? I'm sure your auntie's awesome, by the way. I'd like to meet her. I'm sure she'd have some stories about how you flashed yourself to your cousin without her asking. Anyway, I'm going to go. I love you. If you want to support me, you can. It's a performance, fellas. I love you. Thank you for your precious life seconds. Don't be a fuckwit. I think Axel should get a mug. Don't you reckon? Axel's a good name, actually. It's better. So Axel is like Ian. But fuck off Axel is better. Fuck off, Axel. I love you. Actually, hang on. My cousin's named Axel. Maybe I am his drunk auntie. Maybe I actually literally am his uncle. That's funny. Actually, cousins aren't aunties. Oh, whatever. One of them. Congrats on my 5 viewers. Oh, well, if I actually gave 2 shits about any of that stuff, Axel, that would affect me. I do not. Congrats on being a fuckwit and having very bad rearing and being unable to listen. And thank you for your thank you for providing your free emotional labor for our teachable moment. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Axel's blocked from my channel. All right, bye.